right? One of the most visited temples in India. I just showed an image of people actually swarming to the place. Where is this image supposed to come? There you go. It's coming right now.
Yeah.
And of course, when this particular image, if you look at the crowd there, right?
Yeah.
There's well, you can say generally what I've noticed so far of all the temples you looked about, right, Faldrani? There is something like a Sthala Mahatma. Sthala Mahatme is called, Kannada it's called that way. Or, Jagah ka jo greatness hai, right? And when it comes to the greatness of the festival or the greatness or the selling point, the USP of the place, generally it's shrouded with mystery. Because I think there's a reason behind that, Faldrani. Whether there's a mystery really there or not, I think the temple management will benefit greatly when there is a mystery to be explored. See, human nature is what? Fear of the unknown. The one way you can keep them in control is by telling them, hey, this is the unknown.
Right.
Fear the Almighty. Right? But the thing is, I really feel sometimes it does take a different tone. No, I'm not the arrogant scientist. I'm not at all a scientist. I'm a human being. And I would like to believe, I'm a believer, I would like to love. Anybody who believes, I'll say, yes, good, wonderful. I definitely challenge you to, I also request you to challenge your own beliefs also, right? So, but this particular temple is very intriguing to many points. There are like at least around 3 or 4 things which actually totally boggle my mind, right? How about we jump into the first thing of this particular thing, right?
Right, absolutely.
The name itself, Vaideshwaran, right? We know Ishvara, God, whatever is there, right? And what is this connection between the fact that people go there? It's specifically meant for medicinal things. So something which actually cures an ailment. Call it a healthy temple or a hospital of temples. Sorry.
Like a healing, a place of healing.
A place of healing. Well, actually, any temple is a place of healing. You would say, but you might argue, oh, it is spiritual healing. This is physical healing. Because actually, in this particular temple, they talk about physical healing. Right, Faldrani? Now, what is that thing which actually makes it physical healing? Has there been scientific or has there been some research into the fact that how is it healing? Is it the water? Is it the thing? So, Faldrani, you want to share some information on this one? Or is it because of the location of the temple?
Well, what do you mean by location of the temple?
Because other temples and this temple architecturally, as you know, Balajan, I love to talk about how the architecture part of temple is. Because temple architecture is actual study in itself. It's a different field, and our Indian Sanatana Dharma actually specializes in that one. I don't know if anybody new in the new age actually understand that thing, but actually there were people who actually thought of this, because even the concept of Navagrahas is something which our ancestors have been propagating. Our temples have already had Navagrahas. Navagraha actually means 9 grahas, as you would call it as planet. We might also call it as planet, but interestingly, the way it is worded in Sanskrit is beautiful. The other day, I was talking to somebody about the ambiguity of the language, right? So English is not sufficient. In terms of ethnic languages like Greek or Latin or Sanskrit also for the matter, right? There is no ambiguity there, right? For instance, graha. Graha means what? People wonder what it is. Navagrahas. People say, oh, it is houses. Graha na graha. No, it actually is house. मतलब वो graha पूजा करते ना वो करते ना नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. It's not that. Please understand what it is. Graha means something which attracts something, holds on to something. A home, you go back home. There is a welcoming back to your home, right? That's why it's called a graha, right? Now the thing is, when you are attracting something, you're considered to be a planet, even in modern astrological sciences.
You mean
according to astronomy, in astronomy, when a heavenly body or any kind of object or there is able to have a mass and able to have a gravitational pull and is in orbit to something with gravitational connection is there, like for instance the sun, they graduate them to a level of a planet. But what we have in our Sanatana Dharma is the fact that the Navagrahas are there. There are Navagraha, which includes the sun and also the moon, right? Which includes the Venus and Mars also, by the way.
Yeah.
We go all the way to Brihaspati. We also go to Saturn, by the way. Right? We don't go beyond that. That's a different issue. But the thing is, that is still there. And then we have Rahu and Ketu. Interestingly, before people were thinking like, oh, flat earth, we never said flat earth. We talked about the axis of the moon and the sun, which actually, when they intersect between their axis, is what is the Rahu Ketu, right? The point I'm making here is this temple architecture, right? All the temples, most of the temples, let me put it that way, Shivalinga is facing east. And we also know, as common knowledge, east facing hai to best hai, vagera, vagera, vagera. In this temple, interestingly, Falguni, the Shivalinga is facing the west.
That is the presiding deity of that temple, Vaideshwara, is facing west, Banajan. So, why is that important? They say that
there's a mystery behind that. Why is that, right?
Okay.
But there are explanation to the mystery, right, Falguni? Now that you're going to explain to our bandhus.
So go ahead.
I thought you were going to explain it.
No.
You should. Why is that?
No, I was going to ask. Go ahead and explain.
It's okay, Falguni. You can say it.
Abe.
You
So,
know me.
Batana, what
you
were you saying?
I was saying that is mystery, right, Falguni?
Do you have an answer? None of the readings that we have done actually say why does it face west. But there is conjecture. Most people have conjectured that because certain days of the year, the sun rays directly fall on Vaideshwara. That's why it is positioned that way. And they say that the energy that's generated on those particular days, and if you actually visit this, they call it Sthala Mahatme. What do you say it in Sanskrit? Also, it is Sthala Mahatme. So it's basically the
place, the importance of the place.
The importance, yeah, exactly. The significance of that particular place is that when you worship or you go to the Vaideshwaran Temple and you are present in that vicinity, it is equivalent to the energy or the healing or the positive energy that you get from visiting 1,000 Shiva temples, is what they say. Because of the uniqueness of how the Vaideshwaran statue is positioned.
That's one conjunction. That's what I said. It's a mystery which doesn't have a solution to it, no answer to it, but we're trying to make an answer out of it. But the point is, there is definitely something which is there. Could there be a correlation to what is happening? We don't know, because exactly what she said, the western tower, right? At the western tower of the temple, there are the sun rays are falling directly on the Shivalinga. It's for a few days successively every year. So we also have heard the fact that the Shivalinga also is a powerhouse. It's considered to be the shape of a nuclear reactor, right? And there is a reason why you have to always keep it moist and keep it, water on top of that, right?
Yeah.
So this one actually gets direct sunlight. So you never know. Probably the architecture also plays into the fact of this particular thing which you don't know, the healing part of it, right? That's why I was talking. Why I brought it up was it kind of seems like as though it is. And also the thing is, this particular structure has certain shrines which are specific to the region also. In addition to the thing, there also is the shrine of, I think Dhanvantari shrine is there. And also there's also something called Angaraka temple. Angaraka actually is the personification of the planet Mars.
Correct.
Mangala. So Mangal जिसका weak है, generally उनका health problem कुछ आता है. Right?
Where Mangal ka jo Mangal dosh bolte hai na, that the malefic effects, meaning negative effects jo hota hai generally Mangal grah ka jinke life mein, to they say that if you go and worship, because it is actually one of the temples where the Navagrahas have a lot of importance at this particular temple, and they say that the Angaraka, the way Angaraka is, he's a fiery red apparently.
It's a red planet anyway.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's called red planet.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that time they didn't have concept of telescopes that would identify as red color?
We don't know what they had at that time, Altubaba. We don't know, right?
Hey, that's good you brought this point up. One more mystery about this planet, this planet temple, but you should realize is, yes, the Father talked about the fact that there were the Nayaks, the Cholas, and also the Marathas also were there, visited the temple. There's inscriptions of them available on the temple. Right? King, Vikrama Chola was from that time, 12th century onwards. But what it's supposed to be, that there is narrations. When you say, so as you know, we talked about some shows ago saying that the Sanatana Dharma was not written, but oral memorization, right? So there were slokas and there were things written which you memorized. Based on that, it goes back to 6th century, but doesn't talk about the genesis of the temple though. Right?
Yeah.
Does it?
No.
I was unable to find the genesis of the temple. Was there any article which you read, Falguni, which actually talked about when and how the temple came into existence?
Well, I know that where this temple, they say that it goes back. It is mentioned. There is a glorious mention of this temple in the Devaram hymns of saint poets who belong to the 7th century, which is Tiruvannavarkarasar and Sambandar. So the people who follow those saint poets, there is a mention of it, and this is called a Padal Petra Sthalam, which is basically Padal Petra Sthalam, I think that's what the way it's pronounced.
Padal, yeah.
Which is a temple that has been worshipped by the 63 Nayanar Shaivite saints. So those who follow
Padal Petra, Padal Petra, what is the last one?
Padal Petra Sthalam.
Padal Petra Sthalam, yeah.
Yeah. So these are supposedly this is the energy of this place is further enhanced by this. So the reference has been made in the 7th century, but there have been several. This is obviously again another temple that has stood the test of time. यानी कि काफ़ी सारे मुगल इन्वेशंस थे ब्रिटिश colonialism से British actually there is another thing that we're going to go into which the British actually messed up with this temple and tried to ruin the heritage of this particular temple. We'll talk about that as well, and of course the aspect of this temple which is very very people say that the reason that there is so much healing and so much positive energy or the जहाँ पे लोग अपेक्षा के साथ जाते हैं या और if people who जो पीड़ित हैं उनको राहत मिलती है, that is when you find healing for whatever your internal mental health जो भी है, right, is because supposedly it's built at the same spot where Rama, Lakshmana and the Saptarshis performed penance. They say it's also known as Tirupullarikka Velur. This temple is known as Tirupullarikka Velur, and wherein, like any other Navagraha temple, Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati are worshipped in the names of Vaidyanath Swami, as we talked about, Vaideshwaran, and Tayil Nayaki.
Tayil Nayaki means Tayil means Tayil is oil.
Tail.
So in other words, if you notice, Ayurveda is pretty much on all tiles.
Yeah.
They mix herbs, they make a thing out of it, they either make a paste of it or they make even like an oil part of it, which is either consumed or applied onto the body.
Correct.
So this is where the goddess is worshipped as Tayil Nayaki.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not that she's very oily skin. No. Please don't feel that way. This is that, no. And incidentally, so happens that the Sthala Vriksha, which is the temple Prangan mein jo vriksha hai, that is the very auspicious neem tree.
Oh, wow.
Neem tree also wards away evil. I don't know if you know this, because some parts of India, there's what do you call that? The black magic jo ward off karte na, the exorcism of black magic is done through neem. Neem is supposed to be a very... actually, by the way, we also, at a certain time, used to use neem branches to brush our teeth. Has got a lot of antibacterial thing and antiviral, antifungus properties also, the neem tree. So neem also is part of this, and actually neem plays a very very important role in Ayurveda as well. Right? So this temple is dedicated to that. So, in other words, this is significance of the way the architecture designed, the conceptualization of the temple, the deities being proper. Lord Shiva is worshipped as Vaidyanathan. Vaidyanath is the person who knows about curing or healing. That's what that meaning is. So, this is again, is that the reason why it's called Vaideshwaran Temple?
Yes, and let's get into it now. We'll talk about what it is. So, first of all, Angarakan or जो मंगल ग्रह है जिनका malefic effects होता है, Angarakan Navagraha Sthalam is the uniqueness of this particular temple. And this is probably the Navagraha temple that is mainly associated with Mangal Graha. So the Mars, the planet Mars, and they say once upon a time, planet Mars, or we call it planet, but Mangal, was supposedly afflicted by leprosy. And we know leprosy is a skin-eating disorder, right? Sort of. And then it was at that time that Lord Vaideshwaran Swami cured it, and hence the name Angarakan Navagrahasthalam. So this incident also inspired the devotees to give Lord Shiva the name as Vaideshwaran, who cures the diseases of all worshippers. A bronze figurine statue of Angaraka or Mars is in the premises of this temple, and this is taken out on procession on a goat mount, especially every Tuesday, because that is Mangal Graha ka din, Mangalwar hai na, to, and characterized by a ruddy complexion, yani ki, you know,
Reddy complexion.
Ruddy, like a brownish red kind of complexion.
Yeah, because bronze is is a red metal, right?
Yeah. So, and he is dressed in red, apparently, this Mangal Graha. And Angaraka, Mangal, or Mars, as you call it, is worshipped with immense devotion here. There's a specific puja that happens by those seeking to heal themselves from certain illnesses.
Astrologically speaking, right, we do know that jinka Mangal dosh hota hai, they generally will be going through something like a financial loss.
Yeah.
Rather will be minor accidents happening in life.
गुस्से वाले बहुत होते हैं, unnecessarily
emotional ups and downs basically. So you know, if you look at it, right, if you look at the parentorial history, right, the way they actually talk it, it's very interesting whenever we read about these things and try to connect it back to the modern science and how science can explain things. They say there was an atmosphere on Mars. At some particular time, Mars also had water. At some particular time, Mars, they say, was something akin to Earth. It's also called a twin planet because the same size as Earth.
Oh wow!
Yeah, the thing is, so probably we're talking about a time of when Mars probably had a turbulent weather. And according to the people who observers at that time, they saw that there was the blessing of Lord Shiva to calm down the particular effect there. So over a period of time, I'm just trying to say, it's Sanatana Dharma, right? It's been there forever. That's what they say. We have been observers quite some time. We don't know what happened so many million years ago.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that the human beings were not there who recorded those things, right? Right? So I don't know. That's what's mysterious to me, at least. How do they know about all this stuff that happened with Mars? And the story to say that, you know, Lord Shiva cured Mars of ailments. And that's how it became a place where people come there to get, healing from the Lord. Right?
So,
so interestingly, when people come to the temple, they're supposed to offer red cloth and Bengal gram, the red Mars, the red. It represents the Mars, I suppose, the red gram, red peas, right? It represents that thing, and that's generally done on a Tuesdays.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's one of the mysteries of this place. That is where Mars has his own puja, his own procession, and people who are plagued by the malefic effects of Mars or Mars Graha, jo Mangal Graha bolte hain, on your, because it's true, right? We're all a manifestation of some form of energy. And if there is a gravitational pull, like think about it, Graha actually is, even a satellite is called Upagraha.
Yeah.
Right? Which basically is,
has its own orbit.
How does it go into orbit? Because it is interacting and counteracting the different forces that are there, right? So that's mainly what happens, and a lot of us who are born on certain days and times, depending upon the time of the thing, they'll say, oh, आपका मंगल दोष है, आपका ये दोष है, वो दोष है. So anyway, if somebody has told you that this possibly is a pariharam, if you want to go and check it out, this is at Vaideshwaran Temple. They say Angarakan. If you go and you worship Angarakan, and you partake in that particular specific ceremony, then you possibly could be finding some panacea for your for whatever your ailment is, right? So and then next kya hai Altu Baba?
See, interesting is the next I want to talk about is what's very close to my heart, prasadam. There's a very unique prasadam offered in this place. Now we also should understand that this is again, if you remember, talk about Ayurveda, it talks about using the herbs and nature to balance out our body, which is part of the nature, right? It balances out. Like for instance, I started drinking this, this mushroom coffee nowadays, right?
God.
So it's fungus converted to something to eat. Now, interestingly, there's something called as Tiruchandu Urundai. Tiruchandu Urundai is nothing but Tiru means special. Chandu means the ingredients used in it, right? It's like a clay kind of a thing, right? And they make a urundai of it, and it's given to people. This is a prasadam or a bhog offered to the devotees, right? Considering as something which can cure all diseases. Now you want to be interested to know what exactly it is there in that thing. What's in that Tiruchandu Urundai?
Yeah.
It consists of medicinal clay extracted from the temple's pond, which I showed you in the first part of it. There's a clay in the temple pond which is used to make that urundai. And guess what? You remember I talked about the tree of the sthala vriksha,
yeah.
Neem. They add essence of neem leaves, neem bark powders added to that.
Wow.
And the holy vibhuti, bhasma, which is collected from the homa kunda of the. So it is not the thing which. So when they do the homa, they use sandalwood and all things. They take that bhasma which they use for the gods, right? That is mixed together and given as urundai for people to use as a supplement for themselves.
So they consume it.
They consume it. It's supposed to be consumed.
The clay.
The clay. Yeah, from the tea. If you want to see the pond, let me see if I can show the pond for everybody out there right now. This is the image I showed you some time ago, right, Faltani? Let me see if I can get a bigger picture of the pond. There you go. This is the pond. And it is not coming up on the screen for some reason. There you go. This is the pond, right? This is the cross section of the pond. Is pond mein se jo clay nikalta hai. That's why you can't randomly go swim in that thing.
So I also want to tell you, since we are on the topic of pond, right? Altu Baba talked about the neem tree, right? The Sthala. This particular pond, Vanajan, why is it considered that if you take a dip in this pond, it's medicinal value, right? This pond is actually called Siddhamrita Tirtham of the Vaideshwaran Temple, because it contains supposedly medicinal leaves which are capable of curing any disease. Any disease with somebody who takes a dip in them. They say various skin problems are cured. Apparently, the water of this particular, now, germaphobes like me will obviously not want to go take a dip in that and might question it, but they say that it is something that's it cures everything. And they say that the water of this tank tastes like sugarcane juice.
Oh.
Yeah. And hence it is referred to as Ikshusara.
Oh, wow.
That particular water, the Tirtham, right, is Ikshusara. And Kamadhenu, you know Kamadhenu, right? The celestial cow is believed to have performed Abhishekam to Lord Shiva here with her milk, which seems to have trickled into this pond, and hence the name Gokshiram.
Gokshiram, yeah.
So, like शिवलिंग को जब आप
पानी चढ़ाते हैं,
नहीं पानी नहीं, दूध में अभिषेक करते हैं. This Kamadhenu, who's the celestial cow, the all-giving cow, that is the reason we worship the cow. For those of you who are watching us and don't know and mock, the reason, because every aspect of the cow is something that is a indication or is something that is purely giving. Whether it's milk, whether it is, even the excreta of a cow is supposed to have disinfecting properties, right? So this particular place, Kamadhenu supposedly did the thing, and the milk did the Abhisheka for Lord Shiva, and that went into the tank. And they also say that, Jatayu, whose wings were cut off, Jatayu bathed in this tank, and that is why it is also called Jatayu Tirtham.
Wow. Well, this is all the stories that goes behind it, but I'm just trying to say that there is something to do with the mystery of how this particular thing. Could it be the fact that people gotten so much of name and how people actually consume it, and that even now people give out as prasadam, the particular urundai, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might say, oh my God, it's going to be unhealthy. Don't look at all those things. Actually, basically, if you look at everything in this universe, it's consuming itself.
Yeah.
So for you to say, oh, yak, don't do that. It's not fair.
Well, actually, we become food once we are gone, regardless.
That's true. So if you notice in the Gita, when Krishna talks about the form, he tells it's so. It actually is very frightening for you to understand how the world works. Worlds eat world. That's what the whole thing is, right? But again, we are vegetarians, is what you would say. But the point is, come on, microorganisms are there in everything, even in plants that you eat, right?
Right.
So there's something so special about this place, and that's what we wanted to showcase with you guys. So yes, that urundai, that particular thing is, in my opinion, Faldoni, a really mysterious thing, which people should know about.
So it's called the Tiruchandu Urundai. So if you go, make sure you get that Urundai, and you, it's thronged. The place is thronged with people because problem kiski nahi hai, right? Everybody has some issue or the other.
It is so interesting, no? When it comes to the concept of ashes.
Yeah.
And this particular prasadam given out for Vaideshwaran,
yeah,
it tells, even for the matter, when you put vibhuti on your head, it's not a question of your being saying, oh, I'm a particular Hindu or whatever it is. No, it doesn't mean that. It is a reminder that you actually going back into ashes. So even the urunda is saying that at the end of the day, you're going to come back to this matti anyways.
Correct. Exactly. So there's another thing that we had talked about this. We had talked about the people who guard the temples, right? So this Vaideshwaran Gopura, if you actually think about the structure, how this thing, it's got 5-tiered gopuras.
Correct.
Right, 5 tiers and huge enclosures, and the 5 towers are arranged apparently in a straight line. And as Altubaba shared with you before, the western tower is with sun rays falling directly on the Shivlinga, is one of the things. The another thing is you can find inscriptions of King Vikrama Chola from the 12th century, the Nayaks from the 16th century, and the Marathas from the 18th century. So it has stood the test of so many different dynasties that have ruled this particular area, and there's been war, there's been so many things that have happened. So the inscriptions continue, and it also is housing, like Altubaba pointed out, other than Angaraka, the Dhanvantari shrine. But there is apparently this temple in the eastern direction. It is guarded by Bhairava, and in the west by Veerabhadra, in the south by Karpaga Vinayagar, and in the north by Kali. The temple is guarded by, these are the 4, what do you call it? These are not grihas, right? These are
deities, the
deities
forms,
or entities or whatever you want to call it. Gods, is some people say gods, but they may not.
Yeah, but they are divine forms which are mentioned there, and if you look at it, everything has a certain kind of attraction towards it, right? And again, this is something which is unique to many temples. This temple unique about that way. So you generally don't have Kali Mata, one of the entrance, but there she's entering, right?
हाँ, तो ये मंगल दोष का आपको हमने बता दिया, which is the Mars, malefic effects of Mars. Now, we talked about Lal Kitab before and the parihars that are offered, right?
Oh yeah,
and
this is interesting.
Now this is
mind-boggling.
Yeah,
go on. I know what you're talking about.
The uniqueness and the mystery that boggles the mind about this particular temple is something called Nadi Shastram, which is astrologers. This temple is known for the group of astrologers who reside in the temple premises, Banujan. And they are known for accurate predictions in which are deciphered from the inscriptions on the palm leaves.
And the palm leaves, what you write on palm leaves are called vattadithu, which means it is the one which people used to write with their fist. It's not like what I had a pen. It actually would be written with pressure.
Yeah.
And there was a certain style of writing and all the thing. So
yeah.
And then that vattadithu is nothing but as embossing effect on the leaves.
Yeah. It is popularly believed. Okay, this is folklore because we don't know how to go back and check, but it is popularly believed that lives of all human beings on this planet all human beings for all of time were foreseen by sages who recorded their visions based on what the graha effects on them on inscriptions in the form of verses. Now, these predictions are, like Altu said, it's written in this Vattarthu, which is an ancient Tamil script, which not everybody can read it. Only a Nadi astrologer can figure this out. So, aap sochenge, arey, what if they just make up something? And yeah, there are people like that. People say that there is, not everything is accurate. There are soothsayers that could possibly happen. But there is also this overwhelming, anecdotal evidence of the fact that what is being read is unique. Now, you might think, you can say, okay, this year you will have health issues, hit or miss, right? But it's not. It's not a generic statement. It is supposedly unique to each individual.
Yeah.
तो कैसे होता है? This supposedly every human being is what is most unique about us? Every human being. Fingerprint.
Yeah.
So they determine based on your fingerprint which is your nadi. Which is your leaf, your palm leaf. Now this, Altu said, right, by pressure, it's called eruthani, which is a sharp nail-like instrument that is used to carve and record each nadi on those palm leaves of the past, present and future life.
Eruthani, the one which is writes, right?
Yeah.
Writing instrument, a pen, or what it is.
And some people say that the original author of these inscriptions, people say there are several divine saints who actually saw these revelations and they have been writing it. But a lot of the credit goes to a sage Agastya, not Agastya.
Well, I think Agastya, yes, because probably there wasn't a name. Sage Agastya was one for a long time.
Yeah.
So he supposedly was one of the people. You never know. Agastya might be a Tamil version of calling him Agastya. Because they never say they never say in Tamil.
Right.
Agastya is what they would say.
Yeah. So, and the revelations of his, which he recorded on the nadis, are preserved in the Tanjavur Saraswati Mahal Library. Now, is everything preserved? No. What happened was the Britishers apparently came, took this nadi, auctioned it to the highest bidder.
Oh my God.
They just took all the leaves, the nadi leaves, but many families of these astrologers apparently retrieved them, bought them back. Can you imagine? It's their heritage. These guys auctioned it, so these guys bought it back so that they can hold on to it, and they passed it down to other generations. So it is known that Vaideshwaran Temple is the birthplace of Nadi astrology, and it is an authority on the same. Surprisingly, there is a palm leaf for every single person, whether you're Indian, not Indian, you're American, you're Caucasian, black, it really doesn't matter. Everybody supposedly has a palm leaf that is associated, because one's thumb impression is what determines which palm leaf inscription will be taken to read. Okay. According to the supposedly the whorls and loops of on the fingers and thumbs are unique for each person. And they say, according to the 108 types of thumbprints, the Nadi palm leaves are arranged. Now, the Nadi astrologers then will identify certain lines of the thumb and coin their questions in such a way that they would be able to find the palm leaf that perfectly corresponds to the thumb or the person in question. And these palm leaves supposedly predict accurately, while also suggesting remedies to solve the problems hinted in the leaves.
So here's something very interesting, right? So if you look at it, thumb impression, theek hai. And also if you look at the validity of this Nadi Shastra, right? We don't know. We're just trying to connect back dots. Probably this problem. We might be just being stuck with the dogma. Oh yes, that's what happened. No?
Yeah.
There might be something scientific behind it. Like for instance, now we have DNA mapping. How do you identify somebody's DNA?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, there are tons of DNA to go through. Right? Now Nadi Shastra was simple, could be a collection of data. Imagine data collection, what would have happened. How long these sages, because sages are considered to be living for long periods of time.
Right.
recording human nature and everything, right? Human nature, human behaviors, everything they record, right?
Right.
They probably could have recorded all this as a thing which actually comes out in a certain way. And there is some mysticism to this particular Nadi Shastra, which is Faltani, is somebody who is a Nadi, what do they call them, who read this thing?
The Nadi astrologers, Nadi Joiser.
Nadi Joiser, they call them. These Nadi Joisers, it is believed that not everybody can become a Nadi Joiser.
Yeah.
There is a mystery behind this also. Like for instance, they can't be like, aha, मैं नाड़ी जोइसर हूँ, मेरा बच्चा जो है नाड़ी जोइसर बन जाएगा. नहीं. There is a calling to come.
Yes.
For them to be able, for it to reveal itself to the readers what they say. Because technically, if you look at it, there is no ABCD on that. There is impressions. You put your hand on top of it and do it, and there have been anecdotal evidence which I have been able to gather over a period of my time, my living, even my own parents have happened to have gone there. It is not like they go. It is read continuously at a
And
stretch.
it's recorded, right?
No, it's recorded later on, but actually it is read at a stretch. It is not like, it actually is like, so people have done this where they do these healing readings and all, right? They go into a trance.
Yeah.
So basically that's what happens. They go into a certain trance and they're able to read through the whole thing, connecting into a certain subconscious level.
Yeah.
That's what people have seen, right? So now this is something which we have noticed, right? And this is something which is very interesting. Now we have a Bandhu waiting. Can you go to them, please?
Let's go. Hello, Pam Pam, कौन है जी?
हेलो पैम पैम पंटर लोग क्या कर रहे हो?
पंट्री कर रहे हैं, पंट्री कर रहे
पंट्री कर रहे
हैं.
हैं?
अब मंदिर मिस्ट्री कर रहे हैं. तो कैसा लगा आपको?
हाँ मंदिर का तो हमेशा ऑफ कोर्स मस्त है.
हाँ.
But Deepa, have you been to Vaideshwaran Temple?
नहीं.
हाँ, देखा?
अरे अभी हम लोग ना अभी ये सारा लिस्ट बनाऊंगी मैं. हम लोग जाएंगे पंट्री करने.
No, the thing is, Deepa, well, actually, she says it's all scientific. She's saying, we don't know.
Yes,
I think
उसी के लिए मैंने कॉल किया.
there's a wonderful book called Three Body Effect, Faltoni. You must read it. It's a starting is very intriguing. It takes some time to get off on it. That's what it's all about. How inefficient science is.
Yeah.
To explain the universe. अगर देखा जाए ना, so for instance, let me give you an example. Okay, there's a very nice talk by Carl Sagan. He talks about the farthest we can see of 3.5 billion years is what we can see. We can't see beyond that. Our telescope's not designed to see beyond that.
Correct.
Our eyes cannot see beyond that.
Yeah.
But we know the universe is bigger than that.
No, it's also the distance, right, Altu Baba, for that image to come back to us, for us to be able to comprehend it. We'll probably be dead by that
Very
time.
good. The point also is...
मुझे तो
The also point, sorry, one second, Deepa, one second. So also the point is the fact that light itself is not the perfect measure to define distance.
Yeah.
So it's such a complex situation. It's too abstract. But again, to give credit to our culture, to recognize that part of it and
yes.
to see beyond that and try to, I don't know how it happens. अगर कभी गए ना दीपा जी, अगर you frequent vacations to India, when you go there, Vaideshwaran में जाके नाड़ी शास्त्र try करो, हमें बताओ कैसा लगा. Because I believe now probably it's a little bit changed. There was a time they were pure.
मैं वही बोलने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. Like मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि ये see it's been there done that हो गया ये मतलब जब प्रलय हुआ ना every yuga ended, right?
Yeah.
So we are like again we are coming back. It's like I read a documentary like long time ago, like it's like the title was very impressive. It's like recycled human beings. I mean so it's like if you see all these theories, right, like rebirth, right?
Yeah.
It's just that we don't remember, right? We were born in some or the other way. So similarly, वो time पे वो civilization ने जो भी invention जो भी किए थे, scientific किए सब अपने तरीके से अपने हिसाब से किए थे. So now like we are just merely translating and discovering those things. That's what I can say. Rather than discovering the already discovered facts, and we are translating it in a modern way, like that's what we call it as a scientific way.
So
उनके अपने भाषा में अपने इसमें like जो भी like even in the recently I went to a museum, like all that what is that, I forgot the name, the scripture of Egypt, right? Like
Hieroglyphs.
hieroglyphs. So anyway, all these cultures, like civilization goes back so many million years. तो उसी हिसाब से ये जो and this नाड़ी शास्त्र what you guys are talking, इसलिए मैंने call किया, like even now when you match the horoscope, that is one of the compatibility which they see. So each our kundli is like, which is derived when we were born, has a nadi. Like it has Ante nadi, Adi nadi, and Madhya nadi. Some three or more. These three that I know. Okay? And they have to match in order for husband wife to produce a healthy kids. If they don't match, that means nadi match nahi hoti. So that's when they say like kundli match nahi ho rahi hai. This is one of the criteria.
So they don't actually match kundlis during the Nadi Joism when you go to Vaideshwaran Temple. So what they do is they have you give your thumbprint on a paper, and they don't even ask you for your name or anything. So the way they come out, this is according to a blogger. I don't know how far it's true. I do know that my parents had gone there, and when they had gone, they came back with some tapes, and those tapes are transcribed. मतलब आपको समझ में नहीं आता वो क्या पढ़ रहे हैं, तो फिर then they'll ask you questions, then they'll read at a stretch. It's like they go into this trance, they consistently reading, and at some point they'll stop and they'll ask you, is this your is this your mom's name, dad's name, or is that, do you have 2 children, is this, or do you have like,
so in other words, that's why I said no, it's like templates.
That's what
we are all made of templates.
So part of the astrology nadi shastra, jo ye bhi, this is one of the criteria which even now they do it and they see it.
So I think Meenakshi is saying that they don't match nadis in
astrology.
Astrology is what she's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'm not going to.
लेकिन हमारे यहाँ करते हैं, वही मैं बोल रही हूँ.
नहीं, नाडी
कुंडली मैचिंग होती है, तो this is one of the important thing.
कुंडली is different, nadi is different.
मतलब कुंडली में ये एक सेक्शन है, मैं बोल रही हूँ. कुंडली में astrology is a big thing. It has all kinds of things. जैसे नक्षत्र राशि होता है, उसी में आपकी नाड़ी and आपका गण भी लिखा हुआ रहता है.
So the thing is, the specific to the particular temples, this Nadi Shastra over here, it's very interesting is, people don't know, but when anybody goes there, will automatically say, oh my God, so accurate. But that also is that confirmation bias, right? People generally go with the particular thing. It's easy for manipulation, what I'm saying. Psychology of a human being is, oh my God. People do all those things. Right? People, it's so much me.
So there is one person, one blogger, who has written about this Altu Baba. He wanted to prove this wrong. Okay, he went with this thing. So 5 hours he was just waiting, it seems. And then he said, okay, this is nonsense. I'm not going to wait for so long. He had given his thumbprint. That's all he had given. He had not given his name or anything, right? So he was just about to leave, and somebody, like there were many people ahead of him, it seemed, and they said, somebody called out the name of the place where he was from, and they said, H. Like his name starts with an H. They said, this particular place, H, is there anybody with that thing? Yeah, your nadi has been found. Okay, so this guy went, he was like, what? It probably that place is unique or whatever. So anyway, he went there, and then there was an old man, it seems, who came. And he had these old crippled leaves, and he was like ready, okay, whatever he's going to say. So he brought, I'm 100% sure this is not going to work, right? So the man started reading something. And then he kept asking questions, and then he said, is this... And then he said, no. This guy said no. He said, does any of this ring true with you? He says, no. And then he suddenly stopped at him, and he said, this is not your nadi. And he says, I will come back. So he goes, and he comes back, and then he started reading again. So this person was like, this is like, okay, game over, dude. As soon as...
He won it again.
Yeah, I've proved that you are not going to think. And then he started reading again. And then he said something where apparently this person's father's name is very unique. And he kept on reading, and then he said, your father's name is this, right? And the guy was like, and people don't pronounce it properly. So this guy obviously was taken aback, and he said, how can my father's name be written in such a this thing with so much accuracy, and this man is reading about it. So then he says that he said, okay. Then he sat back, and now he seemed a little more poised when he said, this is my dad's name, and he confirmed it. He said, okay, this is your nadi. Right? And then it seems he started, he was reading, and then again this man got shocked because his mother's name came up. Okay, then he asked him, he turned around, and he said that he had come to him at the age of 21. So this person said, looking at me, you can make out that I'm 21 years old. So what nonsense. I mean, it's not a big deal. Anybody can cast him in. Then he started, he read out a hymn as if Agastya was praising Lord Shiva, and then his name came. Then his education that he was pursuing, how many siblings he had, what his dad and mom did. And this man started to get an uneasy feeling that this is a losing battle. I'm not going to be able to prove these guys wrong. Then he read out the exact date that he was born. Okay, and then he said, based on the planetary positions, and how does he know it's in that nadi? It's not, he's not got his kundali, right? So he says, you were born on a Friday. And this man said, yes, I know that I was born on a Wednesday, not on a Friday. So, but then that Joysier, right? He sat back and he had this smile, it seems, of confidence, and he said, I am just reading what's written on your nadi. And he said, I am reading you. It says, it said that I was born on a Friday, that it couldn't be wrong. Then he continued reading, and then he started to read about his future, where he'll work, that he would get to fly to a foreign country, when he would get married, up until end of life. And apparently this man gasped every single time that the first time that he said his dad's name, and then he said, I only resumed my normal breath after he completed the reading about my whole life.
Wow.
And he said, thousands of questions were sprouting out in my head. Is this real, or am I dreaming? And then the feeling of a thumping heart made it obvious to me that I was indeed awake. This was happening for real, but how can this happen? My common sense was eating at me to find a rational response, and in an hour's time he was given a notebook onto which this entire manuscript was copied, it seems.
Wow.
Yeah. So he says that all of the details, and he called his, he went and texted his dad and said, Dad, was I born on a Friday? He thought about all the possible tricks that could have been made possible, and he also was reminded that there's something you said, right? Psychology, confirmation bias. So mind reading is also something that people do based on your thing, right? So he said they can pull something out from people's mind, what you're thinking, right? And they'd start with, oh, so your name is, and they'll look at your expression, how you're reacting to that.
Mentalism, it's called.
Yeah. Apparently, his father said that he was born on a Friday.
Oh, wow.
Why did he say, so maybe this is not, then he says, no, not his, so he says, if it was mind reading, why did he say Wednesday and not Friday? Because I knew in my head that's, you guys got this wrong. So he says, maybe it's not mind reading either. And then he says that just the day of the birth was wrong on the palm leaf. Besides that, I'm totally amazed. And he says, for some reason, he was, while on the journey back in the train, he gets a text message and his dad says, yes, you were born on a Friday. Why? So people who have even questioned it, but even Mahima ji had talked about this extensively with us. And, when people don't know what is actually happening, the mind gets even more boggled. So this is one of the biggest mysteries of the Vaideshwaran Temple.
Yeah, and of course, if you want to go check it out, go check it out. Again, this is not a tourism thing. It's just talking about the mysteries of our mandirs, or mandir mysteries, which we bring to you every Monday, or whenever we get a chance to bring it to you guys. And it's a lot of things beyond just the mystery of it. It's a wonderful experience. You definitely will start connecting with the supernatural. as is, when you go to something which you cannot understand, which you cannot comprehend, humility sets in automatically. And that's exactly what has to happen, whether it's been designed that way or whether it is something which you feel out of your own, volition. It's good, because that's where you actually connect with the Supreme Being, right?
Yeah.
And it really is very humbling to know that, your trivial life does not matter.
Yeah.
In like 100 years, what you own, what you drive now is going to be driven by somebody else. Where you live will be lived by somebody else.
100 years are.
Why 100? Exactly.
Nowadays, in like 10 years.
Forget 10. 10 years too small. 10 years still. 50 years rakh lo na.
Right.
50 saal ke baad. Okay, there are people who live for 50 anyways. But generally look at it, right? Where you are. There's no point in fostering anger. Just live life. Try to make somebody else happy. At least make them smile, right? And go on. They'll forget you. After 100 years, you're forgotten. You really are forgotten. Very rarely, your cases, you will remember somebody who's historical figure who lived forever. Right? But then again, Sanatana Dharma has a lot of secrets. We are not secrets, I would say mysteries which you're not able to understand or comprehend. There is a reason talking about Pralaya, talking about this. Deepaji talked about it. I was referred to our show which we did about the Eternals, or should I say the Chiranjeevis. Every time the whole world goes into a reset, the reason they are eternals is because until the Kali Yuga, until the whole yuga is finished, the Kalpa finishes, these guys are going to be there, and they are reborn in the next Kalpa, is what they say. Now, is this just fantasy? Is it fiction? I don't know. It is strange. It is nice. It's interesting to think about also if you want it.
Well, all we'll tell you is, Banjan, that there is a reason why some of this has stood the test of time. There's possibly, there is truth that energy is based on, like, when you enter a house, I know Deepa 100% knows this because she's an architect. And Mahima ji used to feel this, vibrations you feel as soon as you enter a particular place. आपको कुछ मंदिर ऐसे होते हैं जहाँ पे एंटर करते ही आपको एक सुकून सी फीलिंग महसूस होती है. You feel a calm come over you, or a feeling of absolute humility. It's like I am a child and I have come here, and I don't know, it's happened to you or not, Altbaba. Sometimes I cry. I don't know why, but I feel this whole overwhelming outpouring of emotion in certain places when I go there. Yeah, it's just this whole.
So what do you feel? You see me? Because I see you cry sometimes. Look at me.
So
Thank you.
So vibrations, right? So this is a place. The Sthala Mahatmya is a place where there's several, over eons, centuries. There has been prayer, there's been tapasya, there's been meditation, there is yajnas that have been performed there in the different yugas. So that could possibly be adding to enhance the energy of that particular place.
Wonderful. So keep that going. Go to those places and consume those laddus. They give you good health for sure. Right, Faltrani?
Yeah.
With this, of course, we're coming to a close of our today's show. We'll come back probably tomorrow or next week with this one more interesting mandir if possible.
Yes.
Right?
And thank you so much. Sorry, Bandhus, we were not looking at all the Facebook comments, but thank you so much, Meenakshi ji, Deepak Pandya ji, Narendra ji, all our Bandhus who are watching us on Facebook. Sheena. Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful, kind comments that you've been posting and also sharing your thought. We truly, truly appreciate it. And if you liked what we shared today, please share with other friends and family. We also have a YouTube channel. वहाँ पे जाके subscribe करिए. अगर आपने already subscribe किया, you don't have to do anything. Please do go ahead and share that with others and help us build our viewership. इसी के साथ, I think we will tell you that we'll be back tomorrow with Trailer Tuesday. तब तक के लिए good night.
Shabba khair.
And प्यार भरा. Mwah.
You are listening to Radio D Hotties, powered by Mahima Creations.
Hi guys, this is Shraddha and you're listening to Radio D Hottie, where the entertainment gets hotter.